Capricorn.
Hello Capricorn, this is your January forecast for 2014. Happy New Year. Well, this is a real big month for you because you have your January forecast in your rising sign in the first house. So this is always a very important time of the year for you. Happy birthday, it's your birthday month. And it's going to be a big one here. Why? Because we have the sun, we got the new moon, we got Mercury, we got Pluto, and we got Venus. And Venus is retrograde here in this first house. So we have a stellium of energy, of this surging energy rising up towards your rising sign. And it's going to come out here with a big sense of pivotal, what I would call transformation. That's what Pluto does. It transforms what it touches. Now, sometimes that can be felt very deeply, you know, in the deepest part of our inner core. But at the same time, what it's doing, it's renewing, it's regenerating, it's bringing out the new you. So right here on New Year's Eve, you know, as we put out our intentions with the full moon, the new moon every month, as we do, well, this new moon happens to be on New Year's Eve when we put out intentions for the full year. So it's doubly strong, and it has the impact of Pluto as well, bringing in also Mercury and bringing in Venus, which is love, and also those things that are important to you as far as values, material values, or your self-esteem, how you feel about yourself. Now, Venus is going to be in this area for a little bit of an extended journey because it was moving direct. Now it's retrograde, so it's going back into this first house. It's giving you a little bit more time to really figure out how you really feel about yourself and what things do you want to implement here that can make you feel even better about yourself, and what needs to go, you know, that no longer actually has a purpose to serve there. So it's giving you time to weed that out as well. So the first house is going to be very strong, and especially here until the 11th when Mercury moves out. On the 20th, the sun is going to move out of this area. So until then, yes, you're going to have this focus on me, myself, and I. That is what the first house is, and it's important that it stays there. But it might feel a little challenged because we have also Mars and Uranus going to be opposed to one another. And Mars for you here is going to be your 10th house, and Uranus is the 4th house. So you're going to feel this little tug of war, or maybe also feeling like you are the one becoming between a rock and a hard place. What are you going to do? How much focus goes to career? How much goes to the home and family who needs you? And how can you do both? Because you're trying to expand both. You've been doing this for a while. And then here we have all of those planets in the first house being squeezed between these two issues. So that's you feeling between the rock and the hard place, okay? And you can't be all places at once, both at work and at home and all the demands there, plus trying to find place to yourself so you can have this transformation. And then to top it all off with, we have Jupiter in the 7th house, which is opposing that first house. So here we got like a grand cross, or what we could also call a grand square, where they're all squaring off on each other. And Jupiter in the 7th house, that has to do with your partnership, your love relationship, your marriage, your significant other. You may be feeling that you're pressuring yourself to extend to your partner. It could also be your partner coming across now where he or she is feeling that they're doing the same thing, right? And so, yes, it's all about figuring out where do we go from here, okay? Because it's not just yourself. It is work, it is family, and it is your partner. All of these things coming together. So make sure that you do take some time to step aside and just breathe a little bit, Capricorn. Go out and hug a tree or something, because you know, it's like a weather forecast. This is like the emotional weather forecast that is coming to you. And yes, having, you know, as many oppositions and this grand square, you can't, you know, move beyond it without feeling it. But it's good to know about it, because then you can actually recognize it when it happens, and when it does, take a low key and go off and just breathe a little bit, and you'll get through it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take you through the dates so you know on which dates what is going to come, so you can be a little forewarned, and also to find out how actually these planets, they're not against you, even though you're going to feel that it's going to be like this, but they're not against you. They're all trying to help you get from one position and into another position, see? And it's like there's no diamonds being created in nature without them going through pressure. And so think about it this way, that this month is helping you to polish new facets of that inner diamond so that you can radiate and shine and become even stronger as we progress throughout the year. So here we go. January 1st, Sun and Pluto, that's powerful. You know, and even more powerful when we put the new moon in there. Now we got the inner outer self with Pluto wanting to transform this. And then we have the Sun squaring off on Mars. Mars is our drive, it's our ambitions. It's also the feistiness that we have. And so Mars might be a little antsy, or somebody around you acting Marsy on this day may come and trigger you, which may not be the best day to trigger you. Because why? You're already under a Plutonian energy, so that's not going to put up with any Mars, you know, trying to trigger you. And if so is the case, well, you will take that Mars here, and there's a split off energy here with Uranus. Uranus will say, you know, I'll put up with what I believe in, but I don't put up with those things I no longer believe in. So something may go. This is on the 3rd of January, okay? So both with Mars and the Sun, also with Mars and Uranus. But be careful before you say it, or make sure that you know what you're saying, so it doesn't come across as just something hasty that you're putting out there, because you're not really feeling that you're having the normal control. And that's something you're so good about, Capricorn. You always seem to have a good sense of self-control. But see, here with Mars and Uranus like that, it might just fire up a little too soon, and with Uranus unexpectedly. So be aware. Now, whatever took place on the 3rd, on the 6th, you'll be able to mend it somewhat if this is what you still want. Mercury and Saturn, great conversations. Mercury communicates, Saturn binds and structures and gives grounding and foundation to it. Plus Mercury's coming across very lovingly, okay, with Venus. So there's a love message here that either you are going to be expressing or also be receiving. So it could be somebody else going off their hinges, coming back around to apologize on this day, here on the 6th and 7th. So, you know, it's not all that bad. It's just all happening all at once. Then we have here for you a little test. This is Mars and Venus, so it's between your 10th house and 1st house. We had the very same square here for you a little earlier. Well, this is on the 16th, Mars and Venus. If we go back to October, what happened for you, where were you in your own inner self, and what was work demanding of you? There might have been something unsettled or not totally agreed upon. You might come back to finalize some agreements here on the 16th here with Mars and Venus. So that's a good note. On the 11th though, jumping back to it, Venus is going to have some great talks here with Saturn, which is authorities. So that could be your boss, it could be somebody on the higher ups, it could be a father figure, it could be you and your own sense of authority, the structure that you represent, the security in which you speak and also relay is going to have good geher on the 11th. And I see you delivering whatever that is in a loving way, in a very presentable way. With the Sun and Venus, I see you radiating and getting your message across so that it will be embraced. Great day to have meetings. It's a great day to have presentations on the 11th. Now, also on this very same day, Mercury communication is now transiting out of your sign of Capricorn into the 2nd house of Aquarius. So there might be also some traits of value systems here in the mix, and we do have Venus very prominent here on this day as well. which also rules this area of the second house, which has to do with money, resources, the way you make money, the way you attract it by the law of attraction. And it also rules self-esteem, those things that you value, you know, love and romance as well. So great time for all of those things here on this day on the 11th. Then we have unexpected news in a good way, which we always love to have. It's those exciting moments throughout the month for you. Note it down on January 17th. For you, it could be coming between it's like the second house of money and income, and also from family or family-related matters or issues. Then we have also a great day to be very active, both mentally and physically. This is on January 24th. For you, this will be here between the second house of income or values, those things important to you, and also how you're pushing along as far as career. Great career day to make big decisions. And you will know already by the 25th if something needs to be tweaked, just because Saturn's coming in and saying, are you sure about this? So not necessarily that a mistake has been made, but Saturn's just wanting to give you that extra date before you launch to say, look over all the fine print. What is it you really want? And especially this might come to you as somebody like an editor on whatever decision you're making, and it's coming from the area of friends or also groups or some organizations that may be looking into what it is you presented and give you a little reality check, which you can be happy for on the 25th. So then on the 29th, another happy day, unexpected news from Uranus coming from also, once again, here the second house and the fourth house. Same thing that we saw here taking place on the 17th. So there might have been news about something of this nature for money and family on the 17th, and then it might in fact arrive here on the 29th, okay? So there's a little gap there time-wise, and but then you should be receiving it. Then we have a test on the 31st, bringing you back to recalling August, beginning of August there, first week, 10 days. Something was initiated. For you, it's Jupiter and Pluto, so that's the first house versus the seventh house. Jupiter in the seventh house, something perhaps with you and your spouse or between the two of you, or a partner that you work with very closely one-on-one. There might have been an initiation of new things, but now Jupiter is retrograde coming back over, so there's a time of adjustment to reevaluate these things and to make sure that this is in fact what you want. Some of it may not have found its resolve there, and that can be you. You're the Pluto in the first house, and your partner is the Jupiter in the seventh house, and so you might now not second guess, but get some more information. And there could be good things returning to you from what you started then, you know, and because Jupiter will still be abundant with us, even in the retrograde phase, but that's all pertaining to things that were conditioned or started at an earlier time. And then we move into January 31st with Mercury moving out of this income sector. It's only going to have like 20 days. It's a very short journey, just zipping through. And then it's going to launch itself into the third house of communication, short distance travel, and it will expediently meet up with Neptune, which we're going to talk about here in your February forecast. So, hey, listen, I wish you the very best. Pay attention to your full moon also. I didn't mention that. It's going to be in your partnership house here on the 16th, so you can expect something coming around there quite powerful on the 16th. But listen to your moon and your rising sign, Capricorn. Like always, wonderful to speak with you, and I will see you for your February forecast next month. Bye now.